You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business maybe, reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Please enjoy today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Jim. I am your host. You are listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to living in another country. And I have to say that if you've ever dreamed of living in another country, moving abroad, exploring a new culture, or simply finding a place that better fits your lifestyle, you are in the right place, because today we're diving into one of the most exciting topics for those thinking about making a big move. And I'm talking about what are the best places in the world to live as an expat today in 2024. What makes a place great to move to? Is it the quality of life, the ease of settling in, great work opportunities, or maybe just the weather and the lifestyle? Whatever your reason for wanting to move, I think we're going to cover all of that today based on some of the insights that I've seen according to recent surveys taken online by expat communities, insider surveys, bringing all of those elements together, along with some of the things that I've heard specifically from people who make videos online who've lived in some of these locations. And when we're talking about things like the quality of life and personal finances, I think that bringing all of these little subtopics together under the main topic, what makes a place one of the better places to live in the world, I think that we can answer some of those questions. So settle in, and I hope you enjoy today's episode, as we're just going to jump right into this immediately. Okay, now there are 3 countries that we can talk about. I'm not going to name these in any particular order, because I think that if you ask maybe 10 people, they may agree that these are the top 3 countries right now, but maybe not particularly so on the order. So let's just say that any one of these countries can be number 1 on any given day. I'm going to start with Mexico. Mexico, for a lot of people, has taken the top spot for the last several years because it's consistently ranked in the top 5 for probably 5 or 6 years now. And when you really examine the country and how people have talked about what it's like to move there, what the people are like, what the expenses are like, then you can begin to get a clear picture of why Mexico is consistently mentioned. First, most of the expats express the fact that the local people are very friendly. In fact, Mexico ranks as number 1 when it comes to the ease of settling in 2024. And this is huge because feeling welcome and being able to integrate into a community can make all the difference when you're moving to a new country. And in Mexico, over 91% of expats surveyed say that they find the locals very friendly, and 89% say they feel not just that the locals are friendly, but that they're welcome there. It's one thing to visit a place as a tourist and the people are welcoming, but some of the tourists are welcoming because they know you're just there temporarily, you're spending money there, you help the economy there, and then they're happy when you go back again. If you've ever lived in a tourist community, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, for example, in the state of Florida, we have a huge tourist community here, of course, and during tourist season, which is the winter in most other parts of the country, the traffic doubles, it becomes very congested. It's a different experience than, let's say, in the summer when everyone goes back. And so a lot of times people are glad, the local people who live here, when people go back up north. They're referred to as snowbirds. They come down here for the warm weather during the wintertime, and then they go back to their home state or home country during the summertime because they don't want the extreme heat. that's here. And that's different than, let's say, people who are moving here and staying here permanently. So next, we can talk about affordability. Mexico ranks second worldwide in the Personal Finance Index, which means that expats find that they get great value for their money and that the cost of living is very manageable for them there. So whether we're talking about finding housing or eating out or just simply enjoying local activities, Mexico is known for offering, as the old saying goes, a lot of bang for your buck. So overall, about 80% of expats say that they're very satisfied with their financial situation in Mexico, which is much higher than the global average. Now, we could also talk about lifestyle. That's very important. And when it comes to lifestyle, Mexico's safety, in the opinion of some, can be a mixed bag because the country scores very high for its quality of leisure options, for food, for having a vibrant culture, and the local lifestyle is all about community. Delicious food, spending time outdoors, things that can make your overall experience really great. And then some people might say, well, there are very dangerous areas in Mexico. I think that's a given, but that's probably a given where you live today. There's probably areas that you would never want to go to at nighttime because they're not exactly safe areas. I think it's true of all the cities. There are different areas in the cities that are definitely not as safe as others. And I mean, people overall say that people are probably less safe today than they were, let's say, 20 years ago. And I think crime rates, they go up, they go down. But as far as safety, I think that's always going to be kind of a mixed bag depending on what part of the country that you're living in and how close you are to certain types of populations. Next, we can talk about Spain. Spain is a country that consistently ranks high for its quality of life. And this year is no different than past years. Spain has always been up there. Expats love Spain because they love the lifestyle there, which includes a lot of incredible leisure options, a welcoming culture, great work-life balance that allows you to enjoy all of the things that you love, indoors or out. And expats in Spain talk about all of the opportunities that are there for recreational activities, including the incredible climate. So over 88% of the expats surveyed said that they're happy with Spain's culture, they're happy with the nightlife, and that's way above the worldwide average. So whether it's, spending time on the beaches or wandering through exploring historic towns, soaking in the rich culinary scene, there's always something to do there. And Spain is also a great place for affordable living. Now, it may be a little more expensive in 2024 than it was in 2023 and 2022. It ranks 13th in the Personal Finance Index. So while you can enjoy a high quality of life there, you're not in a place, it's not in a place that we're going to have to break the bank to do it. Of course, if you live in probably like some of the biggest cities, it's going to be more expensive than if you live outside the city. But Spain recently launched a digital nomad visa, making it easier for remote workers to move there and enjoy everything that country has to offer. And then next, the third one we're going to mention, again, in no particular order, any one of these could be number one on your list. Any one of these could be number 3 on your list. But the next one we're going to mention in the top 3 is Panama. So a lot of people, Panama does not come to mind for most people when talking about moving abroad. But the country has a lot to offer. It's incredibly welcoming to expats. It ranks number 4 in the world for ease of settling in. People who move there say that making friends and getting settled in is a breeze. In fact, 74% of expats surveyed say they find finding local friends is very easy, which is nearly double the global average. Housing is another highlight. In Panama, it ranks highly for both finding and affording accommodations. The overall costs are considered to be very manageable. And while the local job market might not be as strong as some other countries, the country does score very well for work-life balance, financial satisfaction. And those things combined can be a huge factor in how much you're going to enjoy your time there. So, why are these the best of the best countries right now for expats? And it really does come down to a few key elements that will give you the kind of experience that you're looking for. And I think that most people say that in retrospect, first and foremost is the friendliness of the local population. Because if that isn't there, then the fact that things are affordable may be a primary motivation at first, but once you're spending some time there, as the months go by, a few years into it, then that's no longer something that becomes the new norm. So if the people aren't friendly, if the people aren't welcoming, it really can color your overall experience in not such a good way. So the Mexico, Spain, and Panama are all known for being friendly, welcoming, and open. And this makes integrating into the local culture, building new friendships, and finding a support network much easier. For example, in Mexico, about 74% of expats say that they're happy with their social lives, which is much, much higher than the global average. One interesting side note to point out here is that as of 2024, approximately 47% of Americans say that they are happy or satisfied with their social lives. So you can see that contrast, 47% versus 74%, is quite a bit. And one of the things about when they do these polls, when they take these surveys, they're taking a sampling of people. So I guess it really does depend. And at least in this case, we're talking about expats, people who have left one country and are settling into another. So I would say that the trustworthiness of this kind of survey may be a little bit better, more accurate than, let's say, a general survey of Americans in general. But let's keep going. Next, we have to talk about quality of life. Spain in particular is a standout when it comes to lifestyle because sunny weather, fantastic food, endless leisure options, all of these things come together and make Spain a favorite. A friend of ours moved there several years ago. They love it there. I know a lot of people in the UK also vacation in Spain during the summertime. I've talked to people in Ireland. It's a favorite spot for people there to go and vacation to. And one of the interesting things, whether you follow European soccer or the Premier League, which is in the UK, or not in England, it's like soccer there is like professional football is here. Matter of fact, they call it football there and not soccer. But I often wondered why the Spanish league was always one of the top leagues in the world and why players in particular, wanted to go there and play there. And I think that Spain in general is such a beautiful country that when the players play in that Spanish league, the whole family, of course, is relocating to the country. And it's a more enjoyable experience and lifestyle in Spain than compared to England. And of course, England, is a little rainier and a little darker, and nothing against the Brits. I love the UK. I'm just saying that comparison-wise, the Spanish culture in general is more of a sunnier, brighter type of daily lifestyle that people experience being there. So you have the sunny weather, the food, a lot of leisure options. Affordability and financial well-being are also very important. And in all three of these countries, Mexico, Spain, and Panama, expats find that the cost of living is very reasonable. And this means that you can live comfortably without the financial stress that often comes with living in a major city in the United States or Europe. From housing to groceries, your money goes further and you can enjoy the type of lifestyle that you want. And of course, if you're in your working years still, if you're not retired, then you have to take into consideration work-life balance. If you're looking to work remotely, online, or you just want to find a place that isn't all about work, Spain and Panama are great choices. Spain's new digital nomad visa makes it easier for remote workers to settle in. And the overall culture in these countries encourages things like downtime, relaxation, and enjoying life. So now, while Mexico, Spain, and Panama do take the top spots, there are a few other countries worth mentioning as great expat destinations. The first is Taiwan. Taiwan stands out for its healthcare system, and it ranks second overall for quality of life. Expats there talk about the availability, the affordability, the quality of healthcare services. They say it's an incredibly safe place. Walking the streets of Thailand, public transportation is affordable, very easy to navigate. Another country which stands out is the country of Finland. If you're a nature lover or someone who really values safety and a clean environment, then Finland can be the destination of choice. It ranks highly for natural beauty, clean air, political stability, and all of those things come together to provide a calm and peaceful environment for those looking to relocate. And then for people looking for a laid-back, friendly type of atmosphere, the Philippines also ranks very highly for that. The country ranks number 3 overall right now for ease of settling in, and is often described as by expats as having a very friendly population and a very relaxed way of life. So if you're looking for somewhere that's warm and that welcoming type of atmosphere, the Philippines is definitely a contender for that. So if you're thinking about making a move, I encourage you to, explore your options, look what each country has to offer, because everyone's ideal destination is going to be different. For some, it's all about finding the welcoming community. For others, it's all about saving money. And still for others, it's about work opportunities and lifestyles. So for whatever your reason, the top countries that we're looking at right now in 2024 are Mexico, Spain, Panama, and then other countries like Taiwan, Finland, and the Philippines. They have something to offer everyone. And remember, moving abroad is not just about the country itself, but how you'll feel living there from day to day. So you have to consider your needs, your lifestyle preferences, and what will make you feel the happiest and most fulfilled. A move abroad can be a life-changing experience, opening you up to new cultures, new opportunities, and new adventures. One of the things that crossed my mind, though, as I was looking at the countries that we were just talking about, is none of them are English-speaking countries. And so I was wondering, I wonder what English-speaking countries would rank at the top. Because I know if I was personally moving, and, I'm a little bit older now, not a kid. I'm not 60 yet, but I'm not 20 either. So what are the top English-speaking countries? Believe it or not, number 1 is just to the north of us, Canada. Is one of the best options for expats looking for an English-speaking environment because, number 1, it offers a high quality of life. It ranks positive in aspects such as the environment, healthcare, and safety. The cities are often clean, and they focus on things like sustainability, access to nature, and healthcare. It's not perfect, absolutely not. I know people that live in Canada, and they're not exactly happy with the healthcare system because sometimes it takes a long time to get an appointment with a healthcare provider if you need it. So there's that. I guess we can, there's things that we can pick apart, of course, in every country. So you have to see what's most important for you specifically. If you're in great health and, you're hardly ever sick and maybe healthcare isn't all the way at the top of your mind. Maybe if you're a little bit older, it is. But again, it varies from person to person. The ease of settling in, if we're talking about speaking the language, the native language, Canada still has a friendly, welcoming environment for newcomers, especially people coming from the United States. It's like almost like, the United States and Canada are related in that respect. And English, of course, is widely spoken. I know there's French Canadians that speak French, but English is widely spoken there. There's still work opportunities there depending on what your focus is, what your focus area is. Cost of living, it can be high in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver, but a lot of expats say that overall they find the financial situation manageable, especially when it comes to standard of living, because they say there's a good balance between salary, cost of living, and public services. There's a lot of natural beauty and recreation that's connected with Canada. But then if you want to make a real across the world journey, Australia is another option, known for high quality of life, English speaking country, laid back culture, great weather. Australia is another popular destination. It's not cheap to live there, but it does pay very well compared to some other countries. The ability to make money in Australia is possible. It ranks really high in terms of work-life balance. Ireland is another country, English speaking, of course, we're talking about now, known for its friendliness and a welcoming culture. It's a great choice for those wanting to settle into an English speaking environment. It combines things like culture, music, natural beauty. Those are sort of the added perks of living in the country. And it does, although people might argue that it has faced some challenges with healthcare and housing availability. Now, I guess if finances aren't a problem for you, and for most people, it's not necessarily that finances are a problem. People that are in that expat position, obviously you have to have a little bit of money to relocate somewhere in some kind of a plan. So it's not like you can fly by the seat of your pants and go from country A to country B as an expat. Or although, of course, if you live in Europe, you can freely travel from country to country. When we're talking about living there and having a future there, whether it's your retirement or you're building a business or you're moving there from your company, maybe they're relocating there. The UK, of course, is going to be very popular for those reasons because the UK traditionally is a top destination for expats because of work opportunities, easy access to Europe, and the healthcare, again, it gets mixed reviews. I know some people that I talked to who lived in the UK were on a waiting list to have some type of minor surgery done, and they didn't want to wait, so they just reached into their pockets and paid for the surgery to be done. Now, I was told that that's illegal to do in Canada. I don't know. But maybe things have changed, and this is a story I heard 5 or 6 years ago, so maybe it's changed in the UK too. I don't know about that. But, of course, wherever you go in the world, if you go to Mexico or Panama or Spain, there's going to be people there that speak English. English is the top language in the world. The younger generation all learns how to speak English in school. So whether you go to Europe or you're going to go to Mexico or wherever you happen to go, there's going to be people there that speak English. I just think that you're going to find, of course, more people in a country where English is the natural spoken language. So, all right, so we can talk more about this. This is it's a fascinating topic to me of which countries are famous, what they're famous for. One of my uncle's best friends lives in and has lived in Panama now, going on, I guess, 30 years. He loves it there. He said he would never come back to the United States. He spent the earlier part of his life in the military, traveled around, seen a lot of places, and has settled on Panama as his destination of choice. And so, again, it really does come down to what you're looking for. I think in the future, we're going to see more and more people working remotely, working online, as more and more companies since 2020 are bringing remote workers on board. And so I think you're going to see more of these digital nomad type visas being issued. Now, me personally, I would say that if I had to go and live somewhere else and I had to pick a place, I would probably feel the safest in Canada, I guess. But simply because we're so close, it's so close to the United States. There are beautiful places and sections that you can go to. If I had to pick, right now I'm making this recording from Florida, and SDC, of course, serves all 50 states. And so when we talk about moving internationally, it doesn't make any difference where you live in the United States. SDC International Shipping will help you get there. East Coast, West Coast, North, South, it doesn't matter. And if you live in Europe, the UK, Asia, anywhere there, of course, we're in all those countries also. We're connected. We have teams everywhere, other organizations that we work with, because when it comes to moving internationally, the logistics involve a lot of moving parts. And so we've been working with other organizations for years and have a system that's set up that dots the I's, crosses the T's. So if you want to move from Europe to the United States, Asia to the United States, wherever you move from, Canada to the United States, SDC International Shipping will help you get there. If you have any questions about the particulars of an international move, you can go to the website at sdcinternationalshipping.com. We have live chat that's available there. Also, if you want, you can go ahead and fill out the free quote form to get started. Or if you just have a few general questions, or you're the type of person that would rather just talk to another person directly, you can call the toll-free number at 877-339-0267. That's 877-339-0267. Let me just pull up the website quickly here. I want to check something out. All right. And ask whatever questions that you have. For some people, I know recently, as of this recording, there was a strike at the ports and on the East Coast, and so that affected for a day or two what was happening at the ports. They've opened until January. I guess they're going to go ahead and try and restructure their deal, the port workers. But international moving by sea freight is the most popular option, because it's cost effective. But of course, there's also air freight. You could have everything moved via air freight, and some people do. Your items can be at your new location within a week, sometimes even faster than that. If you have a vehicle to ship overseas, that can be handled. The packing can be done for you. If you want totally hands-off, there's white glove services. If you don't have a lot, there's groupage services, so you don't have to pay for more than you need as far as shipping containers go. So there's really something for everyone. All right, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please go ahead, share it with a friend, share it online, send the link to someone in an email, and we welcome those who are new listeners. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you next week in our next episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.